So, what's the future of AI in our schools actually going to look like? A huge new report from the Brookings Institution sketches out two very different paths. One is incredibly exciting, and the other, well, it's deeply concerning. Today, we're going to break down what that means for students, for teachers, for all of us.
Okay, so this quote, man, it just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures the core problem we're facing. You see, schools are, kind of cautiously dipping their toes in the water with AI, but our kids, they're already doing laps in the deep end. They're using it on their phones, on social media, for their homework, mostly without any real guidance at all.
And the scale here, it's just mind-boggling. Think about this. By mid-2025, just one tool, ChatGPT, was being used by 700 million people. And guess who a huge and growing chunk of those users are? Yep, students. This is not some niche little thing. It is completely and totally mainstream. Right, so this is the big takeaway here. We can't afford to treat AI like some far-off future problem we can worry about later. No, it is happening right now, and it's already changing how a whole generation learns and thinks. The choices we make, like today, are going to decide which of those two paths we end up on.
All right, let's start with the good stuff, the really exciting part. The report first dives into a future it calls AI-Enriched learning. And this is a vision where this technology becomes a massive force for good in our schools.
First up, a huge win for teachers. We all know educators are buried in work, and AI is starting to look like the ultimate teacher's assistant. It can help automate all that tedious, time-consuming stuff. Creating lesson plans, drafting emails to parents, making quizzes, all of it.
And we're not talking about a few minutes here and there. The time savings are huge. One survey in the US found teachers using AI are getting back an average of almost 6 hours a week. The report calls that a teaching dividend, and that's time they can pour right back into what really matters, working directly with their students.
Okay, so that's for the teachers. But what about the students?
Well, for them, this is the other side of the promise. You know that dream of personalized learning we've been talking about for decades? Getting away from the old one-size-fits-all classroom? Well, AI could actually make that happen, adapting to every single student's unique pace.
And what's so cool here is just how wide-ranging the benefits could be. We're talking intelligent tutors giving you feedback instantly, or tools that are a total game changer for neurodivergent students. Like, imagine a program that reads text out loud for a kid with dyslexia. It could even bring top-notch education to communities that have been left behind. I mean, that's a powerful vision, right?
But, and this is a big but, just as you're getting all excited about that, the report hits the brakes and shows us the flip side. This is the dark path, the world of AI-diminished learning, where using this tech without the right guardrails actually creates a whole new set of fundamental problems.
And this slide, wow, it just lays it all out, doesn't it? It shows the central tension of this whole thing. For every single amazing possibility on the left, there's a really scary and opposite risk on the right. Expanded access could just deepen the equity divide. Improved learning could be met with undermined cognitive development. The stakes, honestly, could not be higher. So let's dig into these risks because they're serious. First, the big one. We could just outsource our thinking. If students are constantly relying on AI, they might stop developing their own critical thinking skills. It's like never going to the gym because you have a robot to lift weights for you. Your cognitive muscles, the very ones school is supposed to build, they just get weaker. Then there's the social and emotional side of things. I mean, what happens when kids spend more time talking to AI than to other people? You learn empathy, how to work together, how to read a room. You learn that from real, messy human interaction, right? Not from an algorithm that's just designed to keep you engaged. And of course, there are the more immediate dangers. We're talking about privacy, right? Huge amounts of student data getting hoovered up by tech companies. And what about kids being exposed to biased or just plain wrong information? Or being manipulated by apps designed to be addictive? It's a real minefield out there. And the last big risk? Just dependence. If a student's first move for every single problem is to ask the AI, when do they learn to figure things out for themselves? That grit you get from wrestling with a tough problem, that's where the real learning happens. We can't lose that. Okay, so you've got this amazing promise on one hand, and this really profound peril on the other. This brings us to the critical question. Where are we right now, today? Which way are the scales tipping? And the report's conclusion? Well, it doesn't pull any punches. It's totally blunt. It finds that as of today, right now, the very real risks of AI in education are actually overshadowing its potential benefits. So why is that? Why are the scales tipped that way?
The key thing to understand is that these aren't equal trade-offs. The report argues that things like saving a teacher time or personalizing a lesson, those are great, they're improvements to the system. But the risks, things like weakening a student's ability to think critically, that doesn't just tweak the system, it attacks the very foundation of learning itself.
But it's not all doom and gloom. The report doesn't just leave us there on that warning. It actually lays out a roadmap, a clear path forward to try and steer this whole thing away from the peril and towards that incredible promise. And it's all built around these three big ideas, these pillars. First is prosper, basically making sure AI is used as a tool to make us better, not as a crutch to replace our own thinking. Second, prepare. This one's huge. We got to build up everyone's knowledge, students, teachers, even parents, so we all know how to use this stuff ethically. And third, protect. Simple enough, right? We need strong rules and safeguards in place to keep kids safe.
And ultimately, this is the final, powerful idea the report leaves us with. It completely reframes the whole debate. It says, look, the question isn't a passive one, like what's AI going to do to us? The real question is an active one. What are we going to do with AI? It puts the ball right back in our court. The power and the responsibility, it's on all of us to choose the future we actually want.